In today's tutorial, we have a special guest with us. We have Academy Award-winning makeup artist Matthew Mungle here to walk us through the basic use of his scar material. This is an acetone-based scar material that can be used for build-up makeups directly on the skin and also be used for casting small appliances. And then he'll also be walking us through the basic use of the StaColor Palettes. And of course, as usual, all of the products will be linked in the video description.
So I'm going to be making a scar with scar material. This was originally designed by John Chambers, and they called it Scarum. And Dick Smith picked it up quite a few years ago, and then I started making it in tubes, and then sold my product company, to Friends Beauty Supply, who now sells it in the tubes. It originally used to be used for scars in the face, burns, things like that. Of course, we have gelatin, we have silicone now, other things that are pretty inert on the skin because this does have acetone in it. So you have to be very careful where you put it and whose skin you put it on. You cannot put it around the eyes. And it used to also be used to make scars and different kind of appliances in small molds, peeled out and then glued on with spirit gum, because spirit gum reactivates the plastic which is in here, which is acetone based. So what we'll do is you have to work pretty fast with this because it does flash off or cure pretty fast. So what I'm going to do is just take the scar material and lay a scar on to Renee's face here. And then I'll immediately pick up a brush and acetone. And if you're working with an actor, actually, if you're working with any actor, it's probably a good idea to take acetone and rename it Edger. It's a little better name for acetone. So what I'm going to do is take the material, clear the tube, and lay a nice long scar starting out very thin, getting a little bit thicker. Down to the mouth, maybe making it a little doubly large in the center here, taking that edge and drawing it out a little bit too. And then take the acetone immediately and blend your edges down, especially the thick edges where you want to blend it onto the skin. If they're going to wear it all day on the set, it's a good idea to take a little Prozaid and put on the skin first, let it dry, and then you can put the scar material onto that. That makes it stick to the skin a little bit better than just directly onto the skin. Of course, this is immediate build on the skin, and if you were doing this every day, it's obviously better to do it in a mold and make a perfect scar that's going to be consistent every day on the set. So we blended that off. I'm going to take a little bit more here on the end. Just like that. Just get a little texture to the scar with the brush and the acetone. Remember not to hold this directly under the actor's nose. You don't want to get them high and give them a headache. So we're just going to take and form this a little bit. Just give it a little bit more texture onto the top of the piece. You can even take it, instead of going with the scar, do opposite of the scar. Pull it down, pull it up. Make it look a little bit more organic than just a straight scar. There we go. And we're going to let that set up for a few minutes. On the other side of Renee's face, I'm going to show you also a little trick. I learned this years ago when I was going to school in the Joe Blasco Makeup Center. Joe showed me this with Tooplast, which was made by Krylon Makeup Company. You can take this scar material, squeeze it out like that, and make little blisters. Just like that, larger blisters, uneven blisters. Just by taking it and pressing it into the skin and pushing the tube, and then once you get that, you just make a circular motion and it dries out and pops. There we go. There you go. You can take that, just press it down. You see how fast it dries? Air dries. So you always want to keep the cap at the top of the scar material. There you go. Little blisters. And this really works well for if you're doing a burn and you've done the burn and you want to do first degree burn, second degree burn, and third degree burn. So always helps as you're doing a burn makeup. Then we're going to take and just clean this up if we need to here and there. Also, to protect the skin, before you put the Prozade on, you might use a good barrier on the skin. There's one called Derma Shield that can be used. And there's, I'm sure, a few other out there on the market. So we'll do that. Now we'll go back to this scar, which is just about dry. Let's see how dry it is by taking a brush with acetone and going in, seeing if we could put a little bit more texture into the scar. And we're just putting it onto the top of the scar. There we go. That's nice. Now, the inside of the scar material has not set, but the outside of the scar material has set because it's just flashing off. In other words, it's just drying. The acetone is evaporating into the air, and it dries from without to within as it's drying. I'm going to use the StaColor Full Color Kit to add a little bit of red into this makeup. The StaColors are activated by 99% alcohol. So we're going to take a little bit of this 99% alcohol, just carefully pour it into one of the wells so we can dip our brush into that. Put it over here so we won't spill it. Dip the brush into that. I'm going to go into the red well, the color, to kind of move the brush around just to reactivate the color. And depending on how much alcohol you put in it, the more translucent the color would be. So I'm just going to take and put a little bit of color here and there. I'm not going to draw the color all the way around, just here and there on the scar. Then I'm going to kind of dry my brush off on my setup towel, take a little bit more alcohol, and then just kind of blend it out. It's basically like watercolors. You're putting a little bit of color on to the skin, then you're taking the alcohol, which in watercolors would be water, but in this case it's 99% alcohol. It's got to be 99% alcohol, not 70. I'm just going to go around and move that color around. Then I'm going to give this the reddish color here, and take that and just put a little bit of color on top, like this. Dry my brush off, get the majority of the color off of it, take a little bit more 99% alcohol and go through it, then just blend that color down. Now that I've done that, I'm going to mix a little bit of this reddish color and the red together. Give me a little bit more, like the best of both colors for this. And put just a little bit more around here and there. I want it to look more like a fresh scar than an old scar. If it's an old scar, then you'd be using more browns. I'm sure we've all been cut as kids or young adults, and we have scars, so you can just use that as your guide for what it should look like. Or you can do a little research online on the internet. I'm sure there's quite a bit of information there for the scar. For scars and things like that. I'm just going to do this. Maybe take a little bit of the red color and kind of draw some veins out to look like it's very, very irritated. Veins would kind of emanate from the edge of the scar. I'm even going to take this and run it up into her mouth a little bit. Make it a little bit more grotesque as far as that's concerned. Bride of Frankenstein, maybe? Just by tapping my finger on the color, I can just move it around too. Paint all day on this, but that's a really fast scar. If the director says, I want a scar on that actor or that extra, it's all done. Instead of having, if you didn't have pre-made scars that you could throw on an actor, there you go. That would be good. Now we'll go back over to these, and I'm just going to use the reddish color here around these. I'm just going to go over the whole thing haphazardly like that, and take the alcohol, blend it out, just like watercolors, if you've ever watercolored before. It's very simple. So I'm just moving that color around. So I've got a more translucent color on the outside and a little bit more intense color on the inside. course, it could be a spider bite, too. You never know. I'm going to take a little bit of the red, kind of make these a little bit more intense here and there. A little bit of the red here and there on top of the, again, taking the red, you could draw some capillaries onto this to make it look like it's really infected. Going to the next stage, you could use this for a zombie look. Starting of the plague or whatever. A smaller brush, you could even make smaller ones, or you could airbrush it on if you have that set up. And there we go. On this side. How's it feel?
It's lightweight.
It's lightweight. That's
It's
good.
nice.
That's good. Didn't burn any, did it? That's good. See, it's very flexible too. This scar material is made with a plasticizer that makes it very stretchy. So it can stretch with the skin like that. And just to remove this, we remove it with isopropyl myricate or any oil-based makeup like Super Solve, Beta Solve, anything like that. But isopropyl myricate is my go-to makeup remover for these kind of things.
And again, all of the materials used in this video will be linked in the video description, so be sure to check all of those out. And also stay tuned for more tutorials. We're going to be posting a lot of Matthew Mungle material in the lead up to Halloween, so stay tuned and be sure to watch for more StaColor information as well as some new innovative flat mold techniques.